But it's, again, it just tells the story of it's the evil and the ugliness of people's hearts these days is everywhere.
This is Frankie Rose's Think Tank. Here's your host, Frankie Rose.
Hey guys, good to see y'all. So it looks like we've got a verdict in Delphi. I am damned excited. I haven't been streaming a lot, as everybody knows. So I just want to send this out. So how has everybody been? What do you think we've got? Have we got a guilty? Have we got a hung? No, they're not hung. What do you guys think we got? Sorry, I'm just a hair distracted here. Trying to find this stream so I can pass it out. Lordy. Hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you for a while. Yeah, everybody has been so limited as to what they can say and what they can't. I don't know what we're gonna get. Oh, Lordy. So what do you think of Judge Gull? Do you think she handled herself appropriately? I'm still trying to find this. I am. Lordy. Hey, Mel, how are you doing? I'm freaking out here. You wait and you wait for the verdict, and then when it comes in, you're shocked. Oh, Lordy. I am excited. I'm seeing a few of them, but I'm not seeing any news outlets. Here. Let me see.
Trying to get them to honor the list.
So
To be determined.
True crime. She's been there.
And then there are some people trying to get in.
So it sounds like possibly at the top of the hour we're going to learn. Hey, Sarah.
Whether this list is going to be honored.
You know what? I love her.
I know there are some producers from other places that are trying to get in the front. They don't have media passes, so whether they honor this, we'll find out.
Oh, so yeah, are they going to let them in, do you think?
They've never honored it before.
Yeah, I don't expect Gull to let anybody in. I really don't.
I feel you.
Let's see.
Have been reached, and they're trying to figure out when they're going to announce that. And any indication as to when that will happen? Well, I know you mentioned it at the top, but for maybe
can you guys hear that okay?
Tuning in right now.
There really is no indication exactly how long we are away from when we'll find out what that verdict is. But this is the most action that we've seen basically over the span of 4 days. On Saturday, the jury wanted to look at some more evidence.
Okay.
So the defense team and
you guys share this out. I am having problems on my end.
they had to be inside the courtroom when the jury was looking over that evidence again. But since then, this is the most
I'm going to
action that
look
we've
for
seen
as
out
much
here.
as I can find here,
As the
guys.
defense team is
Hey,
here, the
Dandy, I
prosecution
haven't
is
been able
here,
to share
the
this on
family of Abby and Libby
Discord. I'm
are
trying
here.
my best
So
here, but
this is the moment. But I can't tell you. I can't give you a specific time, Phil, of when we will know.
Cody,
oh no, yeah.
during your reporting on
Do you think they're
Friday,
going to let
spoke
us
to
in
a
though?
woman
Really?
who- she was paying her daughter to sit there so she could be in the courtroom every single day. Take us
Yeah, they
through
had
that,
to get
walk us
people to
through that
save their
interview and
seats.
why
Like Gull
she
was
so
doing
passionate about it, why she
everything
felt like
she
she needed to be there,
could
and specifically as she
to
mentioned
keep
in that
everybody
story
out.
that today when that verdict is going to be rendered.
I'm nervous here.
Yeah, Phil. So the woman who I interviewed is from Flora, which, as
Let me
anybody who's familiar with
see.
Carroll County, is very close
Gray
by
Hughes doesn't look
to
shit.
Delphi. And so she had been following the case since the very beginning, since from when Abby and Libby
It is
went
statutory.
missing.
Oh,
And
thank you so much,
once
Andy.
the arrests were
It's a
made, once the
statutory
arrest of Richard Allen
holiday
was
here in
made, she's been
Canada. It's
following from the very beginning. She felt
Remembrance Day.
it was necessary to be here. She believes that
I should be
Richard
trying
Allen
out my
is
new
guilty, and she's here so
headphones.
she can witness the justice, in her words, handed down in this case. And she was adamant about.
There is, and I don't know. And then it's like if there's cutting, then everyone feels like we have to like be assertive when we don't want to be.
Right.
But like,
Want to be.
I know I don't want to. Like, can we
Lauren,
just
and
be
this is
respectful?
Hidden True Crime.
Okay.
Hey, Pam.
I know it's so frustrating. Okay, I keep keeping you guys here because I want you to see what's going on. But like, obviously, I gotta go get my game face on.
Is that right? That's where you're sitting right now?
I will be live as soon as I'm back out.
Okay.
So, as I always say, stick with me. I'm going to bring you guys the very latest.
Lauren is so she's jumping off now. Hidden True Crime. I've been getting a lot of my information from her lately. I can't hear these guys. Maybe that's why.
They have their system that has worked over the course of almost a month now. That
Hello,
has kept
James.
Proceedings secure and safe, but it's a collaborative effort. You have officers from Delphi, you've got state police, you've got sheriff deputies
they've got
out
cops
here as well.
from everywhere
so,
right
it's been a
now.
collaborative effort, and I mean they've multiple times throughout the day. If anybody's kind of coming or going,
There's no official list. Guys, I'll do my best. We'll see you.
Oh, so is she leaving? Yes. We have a verdict. Let's see what else I can find. Lordy, lordy. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? We've got one guilty for sure. I'm trying to find us another link. Lordy, lordy. Yeah, Canada's all chilled out today. Oh, Lord, oh, Lord. Okay, let's do it this way. Birds are happy. Guilty. Yeah, the verdict is in. You betcha. You betcha. Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I wonder why I'm not on. Am I glitching a bit? I agree. Well. Okay, if I do that, where just there we go. I'm gotta practice. A little bit out of practice. It's us. Come on. So I think what I'll do is I'll put that up. WTHR. They all think they're Napoleon at this point. That's my worry. That is my worry. Like, I don't see where the defense brought it. Oh, I've been waiting patiently. So I'm not sure. I will put, as we know, YouTube decided to demonetize me while I was off taking care of my dad. Dad was in the hospital. So if you want to help the channel, coffee would be great, you guys. Plenty evidence for me. Puts a block. You really think so, James? Is it the confessions? Is that what brings you to that? Because I'm not sure Oh, hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Do you think so? Do you think so? Oh, Lordy. Oh, Lordy. Not to get on a kick about that, but I did save all of my screenshots. I asked them how they were able to do that, and they said they cannot give me details. All righty then. I don't know how to talk to you. But yeah, you know what? I'm just happy to be here with you guys. This is something I've been waiting for, and it's an absolute great time to get together with y'all again. I'm looking. A lot of politics going on these channels again. A lot of shite happening. Oh, man, I would have loved to have been in Delphi. I would have loved it. Who's everybody streaming? I think it's this one.
It's probably the smallest, and then it grew on Thursday, grew on Friday.
Okay,
and
guys.
Grew on Saturday as well because people were off of work, and so more people came down. And
I hope so, James. I really hope so. It's just, oh God.
Just in case there was not a verdict today, and I actually interviewed
Make
a man
YouTube
who
great again.
is an Army veteran and served 16 years in the military, and he decided to spend his Veterans Day here. Because he has been following the case and felt it was important to be here for the verdict.
Absolutely.
Camera,
that would be a good idea, Dandy.
Monitor out there, so I'll tell you what it is. It's a camera.
Isn't one of his spaceships going up there to rescue somebody today?
Do we know
like that
how long after the verdict is read that we'll be hearing from officials? And,
Lordy.
The lawyers from each side?
We don't, but I would take a gander that it also kind of depends on what the verdict is. If the verdict
I'm glad you guys all were able to find me because I can't even find me.
Of, Frankie and Libby coming out maybe rather quickly. If it's
I've been working on
guilty,
Patreon,
I
you
would
guys.
imagine
So
that
if
process might
there's
take a little bit longer
anything
time.
at all,
The order might be switched up. The defense might come out first.
I would so
But yes, we are
appreciate it
anticipating
if you
there
guys
will be a press
bounced over there
conference
to
that
join me.
finally we can speak with the attorneys and the families involved.
I
Because up
might
until this
do
point, Bill, as
lives.
you
I'm
know, and everybody
unsure
at
at this
home knows,
point.
everybody, even remotely related to this case, is under a gag order by the court, so they're not allowed to talk. And if they did talk, they would face legal ramifications.
I'd love to see you guys over there.
We are looking forward to that as well.
Okay,
but again,
let's
don't know
see
the
here.
specific
Sounds
timing
like
of
we're
that.
gonna
But
get
as the last people from the public go in
press conference
now to the Carroll County Courthouse, it would appear as if we are getting closer and closer to finding out what this verdict is.
Oh, Lordy. There we go. Little bit by little bit.
And then it looked like they kind of walked back to the line. So do we know, did they make it inside the courthouse?
Are you serious, James?
Yes, the
Okay,
people
so-
who were on the list, they made it into the courthouse. So now everybody who is going to be allowed into the room when the verdict is read is in the
Jesus,
courthouse now.
Lord.
So we don't know
Oh,
exactly,
the
if
fudgery
it's-
that goes
They
on.
have to go up some stairs. They have to get inside. The jury has to be brought in.
Oh,
Richard Allen
come
has to be brought
on.
in.
What else have we
The
got
judge
here?
has to bring the hearing into session, and then if I had to guess, I would maybe think 15 to 20 minutes from now, within that window, I think that we will know if Richard Allen is guilty.
Oh,
or
God. Oh,
innocent.
God. Oh, God.
Have you seen him? Is he there, Cody, or is he still being brought to the courthouse?
You know, I can't help
They do a really good
but
job of kind of blocking
remembering this.
the door.
Remember this,
where
guys?
People are going in and out.
How do you feel
I
about that
haven't
now?
specifically seen
This
him,
is-
but I would imagine that he is.
This is more
If
now.
defense
But
and
this is how he
families
looked when
are
he was
here
in West.
and inside
Is
the
it Westfall
courthouse,
or
it
Westville?
is a very, very good chance. I mean, I would be surprised if he isn't. How about that?
There you go. Speak to the reporting process a little bit, Cody, because
So, what do you think about this?
extracting
Do you
information
think
has been
that this
extremely difficult. Talk
looks
to that
like
a little
Richard
bit.
Allen? What do you
The
think?
only way that we've really been able to gather information about this case is through the court filings, and I think
I just don't see it.
both sides have been.
That's when he was
without
arrested,
physically
this
speaking
picture.
to us. They're speaking to us through their filings, so we knew kind of what the strategies going into the trial would be. Obviously, the defense had
Lordy,
a lot
Lordy.
of their strategy blocked.
What
by
about Judge
Gall.
Gall? Do you
They
guys
wanted to
think
bring
that she needs a
certain,
little bit of a
topics,
looking into?
specifically Odinism and into the trial? Judge Gold blocked them really at every turn because in her eyes they didn't.
Yeah,
really
and they're
want to
so
prove
different from
that
each other.
that the killings were ritualistic. In
I
nature.
agree,
So
friend.
it has been difficult, and especially with
The
so
stuff
many
that
different
they've been
people with
doing. Oh,
opinions.
Lord.
You have internet sleuths, you've got bloggers, you've got YouTubers, all kind of muddying the waters a little bit.
Not at
and,
this point. I
you
want to
know,
get her
trying
mug
to
off
do
of
their
here.
best
Sorry,
to
guys.
almost, it seems as if
I'm
those
gonna look at
people
her
were
face.
trying to
That's not the one I
solve
want.
the murders because they felt like they knew more
Oh,
than the people
there
that
they
were
are.
directly involved with who had that information. So it
If
has been a
nothing
difficult,
else, they
trial
have
to report on. And I
fought
know,
for
my
their
colleague,
client.
Kyla Russell, the actual just physical reporting on the trial itself has been incredibly difficult on her because
Yes,
the pool
right?
for the press has been rotated.
Explained as a
So
young,
she was not guaranteed a
beautiful
spot inside the
man.
courtroom for every day of testimony.
It's
So
what?
because of that, she also had to navigate the line system, which means that she was getting
It's just.
up at a very early
Are
time.
you
So
kidding
it has been
me?
a very difficult time reporting, but
It's. I have problems with that. Not only is there 2 sketches, there is descriptions of a young, beautiful guy.
TV. Stick with us. We'll be here throughout the day.
All righty. Come on. Come on. Young, beautiful man. Let's see. I'll refresh this. Young, beautiful man. The youngest would have been out of all of our suspects. Oh, do you have to go? Exactly. It's like, what? Okay, this is going to be WTHR. Look at them, guys. Oh, thank you so much. What? Oh, no. Yeah. James. Oh, look at everybody. So do you guys think that they are going to let the journalists, whether it's mainstream or whether it's YouTube, are they going to let them in? Or is it going to be just the press conference? Do tell. Oh, Lordy. I have no idea what the verdict could possibly be. I have no idea. There was so much left out. There was unreal. Whether he's guilty or not, Gull totally restricted the defense from having a defense. Just blew me away. So, look at them all. Don't forget, Delphi's only got about 3,000 people. So what do you think? Guilty or innocent? Sorry, guys. More and more and more. Look at that. Jesus. Okay, I'm trying to set up my stream. We're in November already. Can you believe that? Just about time to go Christmas shopping. Lordy. November 2024. Okay, I'm back, guys. Right? Yeah, I have questions about him. I have so many questions. Oh, she better. You better. Seagull equals shithawk. Fly away, fly away. Yeah, I can't even come close to guessing on this one. I can't. It's just, no. There's been too much fudgery all the way through. Remember this day? Remember that? We know you're hiding in plain sight, and you want to know what we know, and someday you will. He told people not to, that basically the investigation is continuing. They weren't finished yet. Now that I could understand, but at this point, ay. Oh, what do we got going over here? So how did we go from more than likely another suspect to a guy that just came out of nowhere? They looked at him at the very beginning when this happened, 7 years ago. One of many sketches. So they do have all the microphones set up. I hope this is not how we learn the verdict. I truly hope that they let media in. Hello, Shauna. Good to see you, friend. Oh, it's true. It's true. Hello. Personally, I don't know that we'll ever know the truth. Yes. Yes, you bet. Everybody's waiting. So good to see you, friend. So do you think Carter was right, hiding in plain sight? Or did they just look for a random guy with a goatee? You know, he puts himself on that bridge at that time. It's very confusing for me. It's what's the chances of another guy dressed exactly like that on the bridge? I know. I just can't see how it happens. I can't see it. I want to thank everybody for the coffees that I've been getting. I think it's at pizza right now. So thank you so much. I'm enjoying the pizza. I appreciate you. You know, and he's also in control of that Flora, that fire with all those little girls that died. He's also involved with that case, and it's still hanging too. It totally did. It totally did. It was bad, just a bad investigation right from the get-go. You know, there's literally not anything that points to him. There's no DNA. There's no anything. Ooh, what do we got over here? I'm gonna put this over here too. So it looks like we're just waiting patiently. Yep, it absolutely was. They even left the sticks behind, the sticks that were placed over top of the girls. They just threw them into a pile and left them there. But do you think that there would be two dressed pretty much identically on the bridge? Because he was kind of overdressed. He was a little overdressed for that day. Oh, very, very much so. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. $18 minutes. Okay, what the heck here? Let's try it. I'll try that. There we go. Oh, yeah, why would they do that? The only other case that I can really think of where they booted the FBI out is Rex Heuermann. That's the only. Why would you get rid of the FBI? To me, that's sus AF. Let's put it that way. It makes no sense. Yeah, I can agree with that. Absolutely. Oh my God. Got some very impatient people. I'm one of them. I'm hanging there with you, Dandy. You know, usually I've got an idea. But with this one, there's too much BS thrown in. Too much truth left out. I mean, how do you even begin to have a defense when the judge has told you, no, you can't have a defense? It blows me away. No, we don't be wanting that. And again, the courthouse is just, oh my God, you guys, come on. Yeah, they definitely, it's a good idea to have the cops. Absolutely. I think you're bang on. Good call. Good call. Yeah, who kicks out the FBI? Blows me away. Okay, that just sounds like a great idea. We don't need them anyways. We don't have this, but we don't need them. Let's see. Just wow. I'm sure enjoying my new hard drive. I'm able to stream a little easier, a little nicer. Not glitching yet, knock on wood. That's what I think. Yeah. So do I. I think I'm there with you, Crispy. You know, I don't know. I just think it's a scary situation right now. I don't think whether we get an innocent or a guilty that the families will ever get any kind of peace with the verdict because nothing was proven either way. She should have let them have a defense. You know, first, she needed a defense. He needed a defense. And how do you come up with a verdict when you don't have a defense? Unreal, guys. Oh, boy. Self-importance, yep. You know, the thing is when Alan was picked up, it was time to pick a sheriff. And Lesenby wanted to be sheriff in the worst way. Amazing how they got something solved that had been sitting there on the back burner for 5 years. Is that guy dancing? Do we have a dancing cop? He was freaking dancing. Oh, okay. Ordering donuts. No, I think you're right. Oh, I like French onion soup. Yeah, and I don't trust the bullet theory. I don't know about you guys. Yeah, the only guy he talked to was a nature cop. I don't know what you guys call them there, but Fish and Wildlife. You know, who goes to Fish and Wildlife to give them information about an unaliving? Wouldn't you just go to the cops? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not trusting that either. Like, I don't know anything about bullets. Zero. But from what everybody has told me, there should be no real marks around that bullet unless it was cycled through. And they're saying it wasn't. Yeah, conservation officer. Those guys. Nope. This is it. Pew, 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 pew. Oh my God, they're so funny. Pew, 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 pew. What is going on here, guys? Hold up, guys. What's going on?
There had been a verdict in the case. Right now, we have seen some family members go back in the courthouse, but we haven't seen the suspect in this case, Richard Allen, yet, have we, Sam?
We have not. In fact, I've just walked down the street. We can usually see that he's been escorted.
I can't hear her.
Jail. We have not seen him arrive here yet.
Okay, so we are keeping an eye for that. We know that's about maybe a 25, 30-minute trip. We think that he probably would have gotten notice, but just imagine what that's like for him to be coming here and to know that there could be a decision that forever changes how his life is going moving forward. We've got a lot of people here who are closely watching this case. Kind of describe the scene a little bit, Emily, that we've seen here in these last, now this is the day 4 of deliberations.
Well, I mean, most days, like we've seen throughout the trial, there are people camped out in front of the courthouse. Now, this is a little extra extraordinary because people know, word has spread that a verdict has come in. So you have people standing here waiting, phones ready, cameras ready, lots of media. I mean, it definitely speaks to the interest in this case, the great interest in this case. There are people from all over the country that are here and that we have seen
Absolutely
throughout the trial, lots of different bloggers. And then you've had local folks, and you've seen that people sleeping out overnight just to see if they could possibly have a public spot inside that courtroom because, you know, each family has had 10 seats. The media has had 12 seats, and the rest, about 24, give or take, each day, was open to the public. And so what you had was people standing in line, waiting outside this courthouse, sleeping out overnight, just to be able to get in line.
It's true. They were sleeping overnight.
Getting a public seat, just to even hear a little bit of the testimony, whichever day it was.
Yes. So, Samantha, you were one of our 3 staff members who was able to be in the courtroom at times. Kind of describe that room, describe that scene, what you had seen when you witnessed in being in there.
One thing that always stands out to me is the
Can't hear her.
Day to day, and I say that in reference to the families. All of the families impacted by this, of course, the families of Abigail.
So there. This is what I'll do. This is what I'll do. Gray Hughes, explain to Ted from your perspective, your theory on how you could convict Richard Allen without the confessions, but with his statements saying and putting himself at the scene.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, whenever I tell this story on my show using the map, I always forget about the bullet. And I don't even mention the confessions at all. Because the thing is Richard Allen said he got there from 1:30 to 3:30. He lied when he said it was 12 to 1:30 because those same three girls were on the trails during that time and they didn't see him. They only saw him when they were leaving, and they have a photograph at 1:26 as they're leaving. Richard Allen's vehicle drives by the Hoosier Harvest Store or a vehicle that matches his, parks the car, and then he says he got to the trail at 1:30. He passes the three girls, they see him, and he sees them. So that right there, he's locked in as that guy. And that guy, they all said, looked like the same person in Libby's video. Then it takes 11 minutes to walk to the bridge. And that would put him at the bridge at about 1:45-ish, because he passed the girls at like 1:34. So he'd be at 1:45, and then Betsy Blair drives her vehicle and parks at the parking spot and goes onto the trail immediately. And Richard Allen would have had no time to have ran past Betsy Blair because she went right to the bridge. And guess what? She sees Richard Allen, or bridge guy, whatever you want to call him, standing on platform 1, exactly where Richard Allen said he was standing, wearing exactly the same clothing that the bridge guy was wearing. He said he was wearing blue jeans, a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hoodie and some sort of head covering, maybe like a skull cap, okay? And then Betsy Blair turns around after seeing Richard Allen standing there, walks back down the trail and passes Abby and Libby, and Abby and Libby, therefore, are going to run into Richard Allen right there. Then you see the video at the end of the bridge where it shows a person wearing exactly the same clothing that Richard Allen said he was wearing. There is no reasonable explanation at all that there was a...
See, again, this is where I'm having my problem, is identically dressed. That's my problem.
Another person on a Monday afternoon at 1:30, a day that he happened to have off, and nobody else, like that's a work day. And there's this guy wearing exactly the same clothing that he said he was wearing. And when he was shown a picture, by the way, of Bridge Guy, they asked him, is this you? And he goes, well, it's not me. If the girl took that picture, it's not me, which really means that looks exactly like me. And if a different camera took that picture, I would say, yes, that's me. I mean, this is like, to me, this is the most simple.
That answer confused me a little bit. Like, if the girls took that picture, it's not me.
And right at that point, it's already, Richard Allen is the guy that said down the hill and took them down the hill. And that makes him at least responsible for kidnapping and taking them to the crime scene. And then, oh, by the way, the bullet that he said he ejected in one of his confessions at the end of the bridge, they find sitting at the crime scene, and it linked to his gun with ejection marks. All right, and he's confessed. I mean, like, it's just, he confessed in a rational way.
Well, let's do this. Let's do this. I want to leave the confessions off the table. So let's go around the horn. Philip Dubé, could this case be made without the confessions?
Never. In fact, I'm not even sure that a grand jury would have indicted. It's only enough to prove presence. That's it. It does not prove commission of the homicides. If they would have had, for example, some forensics of the girl's blood on his Carhartt jacket or his skull cap, or they found his DNA under one of the girl's fingernails, or found a hair follicle of his.
This is it. They found nothing. Train going through Delphi. Can you hear that? It's on another screen.
On one of the girls, then he's finished, obviously, because it was direct contact. But the mere presence of a dry, spent shell casing is not enough to even file, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. And if I were a surrogate deputized DA for the day, I would reject the case and I would tell detectives to go out,
Philip,
the bushes and get me more evidence.
That's never happening. You will never be a prosecutor. Marie Pereira, could this case be made without the confessions?
No, I agree with Philip 100%. It couldn't be made. And I disagree with Gray that the confession is cut and dry. He confessed to a lot of things. And let's talk about the feces.
So that's the thing. I'm just going to mute that, sorry, guys. I don't want to miss it. There we go. Yeah, this is the thing. Not only did he admit to this, he also admitted to touching his daughter, to touching his sister, to starting World War III. He said a lot. So do you think somebody who has stayed in the Huskow in solitary for 13 months, do you think it's possible that he would be just kind of losing, maybe listening a little bit more to what is being said as you're slowly losing your mind? This is my thoughts. I cannot put those confessions in. I can't.
Come on, this is a person who confessed. He said he molested them. There was sexual assault. There was not. He said he assaulted his daughter. That didn't happen.
So exactly, Dandy. Exactly. The confessions were after he received the discovery. So he knew everything, including about the van. He knew everything. So this is when he started eating paper. This is when he got this discovery. He started eating paper, eating his poop, just doing some really, really nasty things, including confessing.
The man was not well. So this is a case that relies heavily on a confession that is suspect because the confession is basically full of feces. It doesn't matter about the confession, right?
The confession is full of feces.
Now, and this is what the case is grounded in. The testimony of those eyewitnesses 5 years later, there's room for reasonable doubt there too. The length of time it took them to investigate really denigrates that eyewitness testimony from the people who said, just you, Gray, saying the timing and everything, how it happened was confusing to me. So to the jurors, I'm sure.
Well, this is what we're going to do. I understand it's a little confusing. I'm going to put together, we have a little map that we'll show you after the break, Marie, and we'll kind of flush it out a little bit. Ted Rowlands, your thoughts. Could this case be made now, do you think, without the confessions? If the jury takes the confession and says, listen, I'm not comfortable with them, they're all after he's arrested for the murders. Yeah. Are you comfortable?
No, I don't think they come back with a guilty verdict with just his presence being there.
And the shell casing.
The bullet.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy's thinking they're going to come back with not guilty. Yes. Like he was playing patty cake with it and everything. He was just not in his right mind.
The whole thing, the shell casing, the bullet, all together with the marks.
It's a much different case. Absolutely. If you're actually saying, Gray, that this is just a strong case without the confessions, well, then why did they ship him to Guantanamo Bay and turn him in and make him confess, basically, is what happened. Why would he go and be put in solitary confinement in a prison unless they were after exactly what they got, and that is a confession, turns out multiple.
All right, I can't leave it hanging there. Gray, you want to respond?
Yeah. So I guess psychosis makes somebody psychic. You know, I didn't realize that when you have psychosis that you can actually see into the mind of the actual killer and see this white van driving on a private drive that nobody on the planet knew about other than Richard Allen and perhaps the guy driving the van. Okay, so I didn't know that that existed in.
But this is the thing. As we were talking, he got his discovery. So if he's got his discovery, he knows exactly what they have. They know exactly what they have.
By the way, I believe the Richard Allen was completely, he was eating, he was exercising, etc. Then he confessed to his wife and he begged them to believe him. And then the attorneys got involved. And don't you think it's interesting that some of the, quote, false confessions involve family members that they knew would come back and say, no, he didn't do that. Plus, they're biased towards him. So obviously, if his attorneys got involved for future confessions, you want to muck up the original ones that were completely said under no duress whatsoever. He said them, and then later on, these false confessions come out, and he started getting really crazy. I mean, literally almost the next day after he confessed, they're like, whoa, man. And he started drooling on his shirt. All these things were going on. It was just, it seemed to me completely fabricated.
All right, our guests are staying with us. Ted is staying with me. He's not allowed to leave. You're in lockdown, Ted Rollins. We'll be with you, folks, until the verdict is rendered and delivered.
Yes. Let's see what's going on over here. Wow, the crowd is getting bigger. Well, hello, Mixie. There you are, girlfriend. Not much longer. They're saying that Richard Allen is not in the courtroom yet. So Richard Allen worked at the CBS for 10 years. 11, started in 2013. He also worked, he was a manager at Walmart previous to that for about 10 years. Spent most of his life in Mexico, Indiana. Okay, and that was where the Walmart was located. Dandy. So they are saying, for the longest time, they said that he only admitted things 5 times. Now they're up to 61. So I'm not quite sure where the information comes that adds like another 56. So refusing to eat food, refusing to sleep, and was wetting down paper that he had gotten from his attorneys and eating it. Broke a tablet that he used for calls. Went from making 2 calls a day to none. April 14th, they decided that he needed involuntary medication. So I think it's called Halidol or something like that. I'm not familiar with it, but it sounds like it's a pretty heavy antipsychotic. Involuntarily. After the medication, he started to sleep again, and his behavior began to return to what it was prior to making the admissions on April 3rd. Jeez. What's going on? What's going on? Here we go. Here we go. Hola, guys. Oh my God. I don't see the families yet. They're saying guilty on all charges. That's what I was listening. I don't know if it's accurate. Hola, guys. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah. Oh. You guys. Oh my God, guys. What do you think? Oh, he's not looking happy. That's Brad Rosie. That was Brad Rosie. Confence. Uh-oh. Yeah, his lawyers are not talking. Oh my God. Do you know what? I was thinking the same thing. I think so. I think it was. I just didn't want to say for sure. Oh God.
He doesn't like the sun behind me. Okay, go. Go.
Let me see what else I've got. Those feeds are. So I don't look at that. I think that's Abby's mom. No, that's Libby's mom. That's Libby's mom right there. Oh, is it over? Oh, it does. I think you're right. I think you're right. Like I said, although I don't know. I didn't expect guilty. I didn't expect it. I'm not saying he's innocent. I just did not see it. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. That's what I expected. That's what I expected.
Mark, after about they found Richard Allen guilty on all 4 charges in the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. More than 7.5 years of waiting for the family of Abby and Libby. And I can tell you, when the verdict was read, everyone was crying, both Richard Allen's family and Abby and Libby's family. Many members of Libby's family kind of saying yes when that first count of guilty verdict was read. Those 4 charges: count 1, felony murder, found guilty on all 4 counts. Count 1, felony murder for the death of Abigail Williams. Count 2, felony murder for the death of Liberty German. Count 3 for the killing of Abigail Williams, and count 4 for the killing of Liberty German. Something the family has been waiting for 7.5 years to hear. When the verdict was read, the family, as I just mentioned, started crying, started hugging each other. And just as the family was about to leave, after the jury read their verdict, it only took a couple of minutes for that to be read. Many of the family members were hugging investigators. Investigators were crying. The prosecution team was crying, but they also were smiling. These were obvious happy tears. It's a lot. It's a lot for this family to be dealing with for all this time, waiting 19 hours or so to hear that verdict. And after the verdict was read, the defense team actually asked for a roll call from every single one of the jury members to confirm that it was their belief that Richard Allen was to be found guilty on all 4 charges. The entire 12-person jury answered the judge saying yes, that was their verdict. Now, when it was read, Richard Allen's family, they were seen crying. Richard Allen's wife could not get up. She sat in her chair. She couldn't get up. Richard Allen's mother also struggling to stand up, having to be held up by family members, and even parts of the defense team were wrapping their arms around the Allen family. As for Richard Allen himself, he was sitting down, showed no emotion when that verdict was read, emotionless the entire time as all 4 counts were read in this case against him. Now, prosecutor Nicholas McLeland laid out a timeline from February 13th of 2017, and in that time.
Okay. If we can maybe just tell the cameraman to turn on the microphone and just let her speak. She's not hearing me yet. Barbara, can you hear me? Okay. She can't hear. Okay. If we can maybe just tell the cameraman to turn on the microphone and just let her speak. Even if she can't hear me, I don't know if she's having a problem. Hook it up. Here we go. All right, folks, get ready. We're about to deliver you the verdict in the Delphi murders case. Barbara McDonald, Court TV senior producer, on the ground, was inside for everything. Barbara, we've been waiting for this moment. Please deliver the verdict.
Guilty on all 4 counts, unanimous by this jury. The defense did ask to have the jury polled. They all affirmed that that was, in fact, their verdict. Guilty of 4 counts of murder, 2 counts of felony murder against Abigail Williams and Liberty German, 2 counts of intentional murder against Abby and Libby. Sentencing will happen on the 20th of December. The judge is setting aside all day. I can tell you, when we got into the courtroom about 10 minutes till 2, it was somber. very quiet. Nobody was talking. The room was filled with members of law enforcement, Indiana State Police, the Carroll County Sheriff's Department. Abby and Libby's families were already inside the courtroom when the media was allowed in, and the Allen family was not present. The media members came in, took their seats. There were 14 seats available to the members of the general public. They were then brought in. Bradley Rosie and Jennifer Auger from the defense team were not in the courtroom. Richard Allen was. He was standing at the beginning talking with his defense attorney, Andrew Baldwin. The judge came in just after 2 o'clock and asked where Mr. Baldwin, or rather where Mr. Rosie and Jennifer Auger were. And the judge entered at 2:11, according to my notes. And Andrew Baldwin told the judge that they were waiting for Kathy Allen and members of Richard Allen's family to arrive.
Wow.
The judge said, so despite my directive to be less than 10 minutes away, she said the jury has reached a verdict. When can we expect them? Andrew Baldwin replied they were on their way up. They entered the room at about 2:14. At 2:15, the jury, or rather 2:19, the jury entered. You could not tell from the looks on their faces. They did not make eye contact with Richard Allen or either family members of the victims, Abby and Libby, or Richard Allen's family. They came in, they sat down, they looked weary. And again, the room was...
I guess they would look weary. Let's look, I'm going to bring you guys
in 2017. Now, the jury started deliberating Thursday of last week. Altogether, about 4 days, roughly 20 hours of deliberations, and coming in this afternoon with this verdict of guilty on all counts. Prosecutors throughout the trial have said Allen confessed to the murders many, many times. His defense team argued that Allen has mental health issues that became worse during his time in custody. They also said that there is very little physical evidence connecting Allen to the crime scene. Now, this case has shocked and haunted the small town of Delphi, Indiana, with about only 3,000 residents. The case remained a mystery for over 5 years until Allen was arrested. Allen was a pharmacy technician who had lived and worked in the small town of Delphi. The jurors were brought in from a different area. They were sequestered since the beginning of this trial, roughly around the middle of October. And again, after 4 days of deliberations, roughly.
I cannot get over this, you guys. I'm sitting here a little bit shocked. How did they come to this decision? Just,
He said, no, I did it. And she said, no, honey, I can't. I know you don't have it in you to do something like that. And his response was, Mom, I wouldn't sit here and tell you I did it if I didn't do it. And that really stood out to me. So ultimately, then it comes down for the jurors to figure out, do they believe the state's witnesses that he was, thinking clearly at that time, or that he was in a state of psychosis? These jurors believed at this point, they believed the prosecutor. They believed the state saying Richard Allen was in his right mind when he made those statements. And a lot of times you hear when someone says something, believe them. And in this situation, the jury believed Richard Allen when he...
oh, Lordy. So this is where we ran into trouble. 61 confessions. But you know what? After they got him out of the prison where there was those alleged Odinists, oh my God. He was able to get himself together and be ready for this trial once he was moved. I know. That's exactly how I feel, Dandy. Like there's too much fudgery that has gone on. Too much.
People are very happy with this verdict. Of course, not everyone is. Richard Allen's family appearing to be quite surprised by this verdict. The judge did also mention that the county, Carroll County, is not able to do that pre-sentencing report for Richard Allen. She had already talked to people from her county who are willing to do that. The defense did waive the 30-day sentencing, which is typical here in Indiana for sentencing to happen in December. Again, it'll be December 20th. They think they only need 1 day for that. And the judge has set aside the entire day. That is a Friday, December 20th.
Oh my God, this freaking judge, you guys. I'm just going to bring you over here for a second.
Yeah, that's about it. I'm going to call.
So,
Okay, bye.
are we going to get a press conference?
Apparently, Raphael has his phone in Becky's face when she walked out and talked to her. Huh? Are you kidding me? Raphael. I think she talked to him? Yep.
I think so.
Don't say, don't tell them.
I think you're right.
No, it's bullshit.
I don't know if
I sure hope so.
Huh? Sure.
Whoa.
I honestly thought within a month.
On that lack of evidence.
Never thought it would drag out that long. But through this Facebook group, it grew and it grew, and we helped with the fundraisers, made sure that got stuff. Libby's, don't forget about Libby's shoebox that her and her mom did before, Abby's, I'm sorry. And I knew we would come to the day where we could say today is the day, and we reached it. But through this Facebook group, you were allowed to express your opinions and stuff. We all are, but ultimately our opinions don't matter. It was the 12 men and women in that box. And also, if any of you in the state of
So
Indiana
much was left out. How the hell?
Bill that would prohibit the release of
On that
photos
little
these two beautiful
of evidence, like nothing, no DNA.
and pathologist report and the pathologist photos. So if you know any state legislators,
Yes, they are,
push
Carrie.
that. They're looking for a level 6 felony as a punishment because our baby girl should never be sold or put behind a paywall. So that's about no. What was your initial reaction when you came out?
What is behind a paywall?
I just I don't know why in my gut I felt we got the felony murder. I thought maybe the hang up was on the murder, but I just sat out here and prayed this morning. People say you're sitting here by yourself with a sign for Abby and Libby, and I thought, it only takes one voice, and through that one voice, we were able. I truly believe in the system. I think a lot of people owe the law enforcement.
That's a really good question, Mel.
Obviously, everybody has already got the news of the verdict. With that being said, Judge Gull has not lifted the gag order, so we're not going to be able to make any type of public statement at this point.
Jesus.
We'll be looking forward to having something scheduled a month from now following sentencing. So with that, that's all that we're going to be able to say at this time. So thank you very much.
Yep, gag order's still in place. And I don't know. I think she's going to try and hold back after. I think she's going to do her best to keep everything under wraps. We were able to see through all the different updates by YouTubers / lawyers that were in the courtroom the entire time. It blew me away how many, the division. I did not expect the division. I thought it would lean more one way, literally because there was no evidence. But I don't know, him saying he was there and admitting it.
Eldon, can we come back? Yeah, back out.
When he
They're
did
coming back
those
to me.
actions. Wonder how they're going to feel
Eldon,
when they
I'm right
hear
here.
everything that was not
Let's just go right here.
shown to them.
It's okay if media is behind me. I don't care. Hi, guys.
Oh. Here we go.
Yeah.
She's frozen up. There we are. I just, like I say, I'm not saying
Okay,
these
they're
they're
coming in next.
innocent, but I don't know how they came to this conclusion. So I guess we're not going to have a press conference if the gag order continues.
Yeah, actually, Mark and Nicole, the judge said before we started going, someone is going to be unhappy with the verdict. And that is absolutely the case. When you have two families involved here, really three families, Abby and Libby's family involved and Richard Allen's family involved, someone is bound to be unhappy with this. I can tell you that if you'll remember, Special Judge Fran Gohl placed a gag order on this case, meaning anyone involved in this case was not allowed to talk. We were just informed by Indiana State Police the gag order is still in effect. It'll be in effect until at least December 20th when Richard Allen is sentenced. Now, he could be sentenced up to 130 years for these 4 murder charges. Again, if you are just now tuning in, found guilty on all 4 charges here. The first 2 on the felony counts and the second 2 on the murders of Abby and Libby. But I did have an opportunity, Mark, you mentioned it, talking with the families extensively throughout the trial and before the trial. And I'll never forget Kathy Allen. The first time I saw her was the very first court appearance after Richard Allen was arrested. And I told her to hang in there. And she looked at me and she said, he's my person. I don't know how I'm supposed to
he's my person.
And she kind of has been there every step of the way. She's been by his side. And when the verdict was read, Kathy Allen was crying. She had to actually be assisted up by people. She was unable to even stand on her own. And the same for his mother and for other members of the defense team really struggling. Richard Allen himself, though, was showing no emotion. When the verdict was read, he remained emotionless. His defense attorney, Andrew Baldwin, had his arm around him and was patting his back and rubbing the back of his head, but Richard Allen showed no emotion. On the other side, though, Abby and Libby's families, they were joyous, they were happy, they were crying, hugging one another, and being embraced by the prosecution and by many investigators. Superintendent Doug Carter, as many of you have seen, he's been really vocal before the arrest of Richard Allen, saying that they would find the person responsible. He was inside the courtroom with his wife, and he was emotional.
On all counts in this case, Allen is now convicted of killing teenagers Abby Williams and Libby German near a hiking trail in the small town in Delphi, Indiana in 2017. Right now, we're joined by Chicago Kent law professor Harold Krent to kind of walk us through a little bit about this verdict and also what happened.
Let's see, guys. I'll bring you over here quickly.
And they, they're vocal about that and holding up their signs. But I would say the majority of folks here very pleased. Yes. Samantha Johnson is also here, and she's been talking and getting some community reaction and joins us now. Sam, what have you been able to learn from the people that you've talked to?
Well, Anne Marie, I am currently at the location Emily was just at a few moments ago. We've heard from several community members. We heard from state police, as Emily mentioned too. I want to tell you too, so many of the people who are here waiting for this verdict have been here for weeks. So many of them have been camped out day and night to be one of the first to hear the verdict. We talked to a woman, her name is Sarah. She lives here in Delphi. She says she's a family friend of the girls. And she told us today is the day, right? That phrase, we've continued to hear that for years now. And we talked to her just a moment ago. She said she could have almost bust with excitement because she said today is finally the day. Take a listen. You said, I've been praying.
I have been praying. I said, as you know, we usually had 4 or 5 of us, just a few signs to show respect to the girls in what this community has went through for the past 7.5 years. Today is a new day. Today is that day, the day they can start healing. Today's that day that those families can start the healing process. This part is done. So as a community, now they get to heal all together. this community and the surrounding communities and counties surrounded them. Also, big shout out to law enforcement. They came from everywhere around Indiana. You couldn't tell what department, but they were so cohesive together. They blended well. You didn't have to see the division in the rank or anything. They protected this county, and now this county needs to heal.
Now, as we know, there are obviously two sides to this case, and like.
So, guys. Hang on here. So, are you guys as surprised as I am? That is not what I expected at all. Oh, Lord. So, do you think they will put him in general population? Will they do that? Or will they put him in with people that have committed crimes similar? Yeah, 61 times is what I've heard. So am I. Yeah, so am I. That's the thing. I'm right there with you, friend. I didn't know what to expect. I just didn't think that they proved their case. I didn't expect this. But then if he had have been freed, I probably would have been equally as shocked. I don't think it is. I think you're right, Mal. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if they do that or if they keep them in jail until sentencing, or if they'll send him back to that hellhole, or if he'll end up, I don't know where he's going to end up. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. Everything under Doug Carter surprised me. Because how are they with that Florida fire? How has that not been solved? When it's kind of sounding like a possible Odinist might have gotten involved. Because we have to remember the ones that are around there are also white supremacists, right? So, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I know. And, I mean, young and beautiful, that doesn't describe him. And that's coming from Betsy Blair, I do believe. That was, he was young and beautiful. People ask about how he would have known about the white van. Well, he had the discovery before that happened. Yeah, it's just there's so much left unanswered. Oh, you're very welcome. It was really nice to be able to hang out with you guys again. I've missed you. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it there. If anything else comes up, I've got a bunch of notes from the past couple of weeks I want to go through. So if I can get a little bit more educated on what just happened, I might do another stream because I'm like you guys, I am blown away. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. And again, YouTube decided to take my monetization away while I was with my dad for 7 weeks, who was in the hospital. So if anyone is interested in buying me a coffee, I'd truly appreciate it. It helps with the expenses. I was shocked that they did that to me, but you know how YouTube flies. So guys, I will thank you again and see you soon in the next one. Bye. I think.
dun 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 dun.